Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's time again for another Facebook Live Wednesday night shower door professionals group. Woohoo! Woohoo! As you know, we do this each Wednesday evening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So thanks for joining us. If you want to join us here in the Zoom room, feel free to click on that link. I'll put in the description there in the group and come on in. This week's guest host, I am proud to announce, is Robert Gomez. Robert's working with Glass Expert Partners over there, but he has done quite a bit of stuff. He's got a really cool story. I've only heard a small part of it, and I'm hoping he's going to share a little bit more with us, a little bit about his background and his history in the glass biz. And what he's doing now, what he might do in the future, who knows? Anyway, at this point, I'd like to just go ahead and turn it on over to Robert. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Can y'all hear me? Is my audio good?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
Awesome. I got a new microphone set up, got a new camera set up. Half the time it works, which is like most things. So I've been a part of these calls for a little while now. I've known of Chris Phillips and the group and always kept my ear out. I love to know things and be in the know. And a part of my venture in the glass industry started about 13, 14 years old. I'd like to say Angel was my first job, but it wasn't. It was actually in high school. I needed to work. We were a poor family. So I worked full time at Dairy Queen while I was going to school. Kept grades just good enough to pass. At Dairy Queen, I learned about customer service. First cafeteria was next. I learned about training cross departments. You know, each place you go, you pull a nugget from your experience. If you're smart and try to use your wisdom, you pull some knowledge even from bad experiences. So at first cafeteria was training across departments. At Dollar General, I learned how to get fired on your day off. And America's Auto Auction was the funnest one because it was the longest time where I got to become a grunt somewhere and just go through the efforts of helping people. And in the end, I was managing a very large department with a lot of employees. I got to learn about the importance of training, the importance of trust, and most of all, the importance of SOPs, having standard operating procedures. So I hope that by the end of the call, I give you all some perspective from an installer's point of view, because I came in as an installer to Ames after that journey through all these other places. I was an installer at Ames for about 5 years. I was a helper. I ran my own truck. I know what the guys talk about behind your back. I know what they smile and say yes to you, yes, sir. And I know what they actually do when they're in the field. And I understand there's sometimes a gap between acknowledgement and actually taking the action to do it. And being a good owner and being a good leader is being able to identify that, getting rid of the people that are the problem, that are the cause of people not listening to you, and being able to have the self-awareness enough to know when you're wrong, or at least able to approach people in a different way. So whether you're a new guy starting out, I have a lot of tips for marketing things you can do as new guys starting out. And for people that are tried and true and been in business for a while, I think it's important for them to know the changes that are coming with technology, where we're at, how fast things are moving in the technical world, and how just like horse farms or horse and carriage towns, when the automobile came and the pavement was laid, if they didn't do anything about their 100, 200-year multi-generation tradition and their livelihood, if they didn't adapt to these new things coming, then they no longer had a legacy to leave to the next person. So just understanding that technology is moving at a rapid pace. And I hope that everyone can take advantage of what's out there. Even if they don't understand it, they don't need to. There are people you can hire that you can trust, that can put in place these automations, that just like with your dry cleaning, just like with your house cleaning, just like with your personal security and your credit cards, you can do what you can to gain the level of trust to hand over authority of your business and things that you keep private and think you have to have in your control to someone else that you can trust to do it. Because the number one thing that keeps someone from growing is thinking that they're the only guy who can do it all. And that always keeps a small shop small. They never want to trust and delegate. Delegation is one of the most important things you can do to scale and give someone else a chance. And for the small guys going out, before you do marketing, before you do sales, a lot of people say, how can I get leads? What do I need to do to get leads? The main thing I learned in my agency work which I ran an agency for quite a few years. I did website building, email marketing. We would rent out people's email lists. If you have a list of 100 emails and I have a survival flashlight and you are a Cabela's kind of store, I'll pay you $100 to send my product to your list one time in your weekly newsletter. And you make money, I make money on my sales. It's cool. So I learned about how people will give you money without you having a physical location. I was like, whoa, people give you a lot of money for nothing, for a hope that they might sell something. That's insane. But it's possible. Someone else can do it, I can. All right, cool. Now I know you can get large deposits from someone without going to their house when you're doing a shower if you present yourself with the right branded trust. And with the agency work, I realized everyone wanted new leads. Every company we talk to, well, probably a lot of people are similar. They're hustlers, they're grinders. The first thing they say when you ask them, what can I help you with, is I need more business. But you realize that a lot of people just scream they want more business, but they actually have no foundation. And what I learned with the leads is we would come in, and paid advertising is easy once you figure it out. There's a formula, and you just got to keep up to date with what changes in the formula happened. And when you know the formula, you can turn the faucet on and the leads will start pouring in. And then you know how much it's going to cost you per lead to come in. And when you can turn that faucet all the way up, which is the #1 request of all businesses at first, they become flooded. Their leads fill in, and then you start noticing the cracks in their foundation. You start noticing that they didn't have a check-in process. They didn't have a process to scale all these customers because they're still doing things different ways for different people. That was the #1 thing I learned coming back to Ames after I went on my marketing journey. Chance reached out to me and was like, hey, actually it was a 20-year guy at Ames, Chris Lugo, one of the best guys with customer service and knowing what he's doing, one of those bedrocks of a company you hope for. He would always let me know that Chance is coming to Ames and he's been working on a lot of automation. He's been working on a lot of marketing. He's trying to get a grip on that, as well as like take it to a whole nother level. I came in as a helper, as one of their clients, as a subcontractor, just helping them. And the glass industry has a way of pulling you in, right? I was just there to help. I look around, I'm doing my agency work because they have an open desk. The phone keeps ringing. The girl's across the desk from me, and I'm like, all right, the phone's ringing. It's okay. I got meetings. I'm automation. I'm building ads. They let me work in here as long as I help them in my off time. And then I answer the phone. And that was it. I answer the phone. I give them answers. I'm able to give them a quote real quick, hang up. And then I start answering calls. Then I start scheduling. Then I start seeing how they operate. And I'm like, wow, there's things that exist that can really help you in all these areas. When I was there 20 years ago, we were using white, pink, and yellow papers to do our orders. We would go out to the job, we would measure, write it down. I would come back, hand it to the girl at the end. Hopefully I had all 5 of them and I didn't leave that 6th one at Burger King where I got ketchup on it. And here's the list of orders. The next day when she comes in, because she's had a hell of a day, she's gonna look at the orders, hopefully estimate, hopefully that customer gets an estimate by morning, midday, end of day, hopefully. And then you get a response from the customer eventually. And I just saw that whole process like, wow, that's how we did it 20 years ago. When I came back, nothing changed. Nothing at all about how the process was. It was still white, pink paper. And as Chance was trying to escalate and elevate those systems and integrate new software, I started becoming more interested. And eventually I sold my shares of my business. And I love the camaraderie that Ames. And most of all, well, most importantly, I love the vision. I love the vision. If you want to know how to get good employees to buy in, I didn't have to go with Ames Mirror and Glass as the company. I was actually interested in representing multiple companies and just doing advertising. But the mission that he had to change the image that Glazers had in the industry, to give good customer service, to try to help employ our guys and give them good wages, not just keep people churning in and out the door. But there's just a mission to just improve overall. And I could vibe with that, especially his personal mission of his family and what he wanted to do. I was like, man, there's nothing about this that I don't completely connect with on a personal level. And I was happier being involved with the team. Everyone liked each other. There was a quality we were trying to instill. There was a camaraderie. We had each other's back. It was awesome. And so I was happy to make less money here, building a bigger vision, because it was important to do that. And I think most people worry about employment and getting good guys in. And the first thing you want to have is foundation. I think Bill said it best when he was talking about employees. They'd rather not have an experienced guy. If he can get a guy that knows nothing, that's better, because he's established training and systems to get them to know our process and the way it needs to be. And we share that mindset. Like, the problem with experienced people is that they're experienced. they know all the ways, and whatever your way is, that's cool. But when they get in the field, they're going to tell that other guy, nah, yeah, I know they do it this way, but this is the way I know it works. And I think that's the number one thing that you would need to do as a new guy or as an old guy, is make sure your branding is good before you ask for any leads, before you ask for any sales, before you ask for anything to come in. If you're a small guy, make sure your branding's good. If you're a big guy, make sure your branding's good, because it's all about reputation. Brand nowadays matters more than ever. Social media and the internet has exposed everyone for who they really are and what they really think. You can't hide it anymore. We used to be able to have conversations at barbecues, conversations at meetings, and then at our employment place, we got to be someone else. Now, who you are in one place travels with you everywhere. So you got to make sure that you are that you know your values, you know where you stand, you know what you stand for, you know what you won't stand for, and you know the kind of people and the values that you want to drive in your company. Because if those are strong first, then you will only attract people that are with that. And you're going to get a lot of people that come into your business that are great employees. They're awesome. They'll kill it. And you'll try to find a way of, how can I change our values around that good employee, versus how can I stand by my values and not let some person come in that doesn't match it, because they're going to throw the whole vibe off. And I experienced that a lot with my employment thing, is no matter how good someone is, it doesn't matter if when you turn your back, how are they going to treat you and talk about your business and talk about your company? When their friends ask them, how's work? How's your job, man? How's it going? You don't want them to like look down and be like, oh man, it's all right. You know, it's something for now. You want them to be like, man, these guys are awesome. They take care of me. We go to a barbecue, they buy me swag. They care about customers. And the cool shit is, I was on a job, we had an opportunity to scam the customer, to save the company money, to do it the wrong way. And they said, no. That's not the way we do it. That's not what we do. That's not what we stand for. I don't care if no one will ever know. We want to stand for something more than that. And when a guy can go back and say, you know what, I can get offered more, but I know how they treat their people, or I know what standing for something means something. And if you truly stand for something and it's right, you're going to find people with your values. You're going to find employees that will stay with you when better opportunities pop up. Employees that will, when someone asks, are y'all hiring? They won't say, you don't want to work here, man. They'll say, yeah, man. In fact, let me see if they're hiring, man. I'd really love to have you on. I've been telling them about you. You know, that there's a whole shift. And it first starts with the guy at the top. The guy has to give a shit. And the people that are following you have to believe that you actually do. Can't just be a stupid slogan on your wall. It has to be something you live and do. And they have to see opportunities where you had a chance to do the wrong thing and you did the right thing at your own detriment. When they see that, they're like, man, you're someone else to them. And I think that means something to stand for something, right? And so enough about that and tracking and automation. I came in, I loved Ames. I love what they were doing. I wanted to ride with something more. I was an agency representing financial advisors, and we hit pay dirt, and it was good money. But after 2 years of grinding for what I thought I wanted, once I hit that pay dirt, it's going to be all worth it. I hit the pay dirt and I felt empty and soulless. It wasn't worth it. I achieved the mountaintop and I looked around and realized I didn't even like this mountain. Like, why did I want this view? This isn't what I wanted. I rode with someone else's view. So making your employees will attach to you if they believe your mountaintop is something they want to ride with. And you have to understand that your employees now aren't like before. Before 20-year, 30-year opportunities sounded great for everyone. Nowadays, with technology shifting, I don't just have the opportunity of the 10 places hiring in my city. Now with technology and the ability to transport my life, I can have a job lined up, a place to stay, everything I need before I even visit and see another country. With digital technology, I can set that all up and have my job and go, or do my job from my house. So before the threat that do it our way this is the way it is. I don't care your feelings. I don't care about your opinion. I don't care about what you think as an employee. Do it my way or hit the door. They will gladly hit the door, because now there's not just 9 other places in town that you're going to whisper, don't hire him. The world's open to everyone now. So it matters more now than ever to be a good person, and to understand that if your employees come in for a short amount of time, that's okay. In fact, you should have the training and everything in place so that you can take brand new people and run them through your system and understand everyone has a dream and a vision and something they're trying to achieve for. And now the opportunities are there for them more than ever. So be proud and be a part of their dream and their journey, because as they elevate to that next part of their life, when they get there, if you help them get there by adjusting their schedule, by caring that they had a night class, by offering them training more in that field, because maybe they want to elevate, but they want to elevate with you, not to a different place altogether. Maybe they're like, I just want to do this installer thing, and now I need something new. Our brains need novelty, and everyone gets bored after a certain span. And that scientific mark is usually 3 to 4 years. 2 to 4 years is around the time when people mentally need new challenges. Their brains are completely automatic now with what their tasks are. And if there's nothing new, they start to get bored and restless, looking for side jobs, looking for opportunities to do something else, looking for other jobs that might, something that'll excite them. And if you can provide that excitement within your company, even if it is changing the way their day is structured and what is in their daily roles and what responsibilities they have, giving them more trust, letting them share their experience with someone else and start training someone else, you might reignite that person that you think is at the end of their rope. You might actually re-inspire the employee that was not telling you they were looking elsewhere. But we all get resume emails all the time from people that have submitted. I just got a resume this place from a person who works for an operation somewhere. And I was like, oh, this guy's leaving his job. Cool. I don't think that employer knows, but everyone's looking, everyone's searching, and you should be proud of your guy going somewhere else and have a place to where you will always leave on a good note. You will always have something great to say for them. And that treating people good, customers, people, everyone. Before, you could tell a guy to screw off and it's whatever. Nowadays, it matters more than ever. Reviews, reputation, all that matters. So I've touched on employees, that's my perspective on employees, just to give y'all the rundown on that. My perspective on the industry is you need to understand that automation is coming, and the ways that automation are coming, there are going to be a lot of shifts that happen, but mainly the ones that apply to the glass industry are going to be, you don't have to be the one that's talking to every person all the time. And there's a lot of things that you can do to really improve your customer experience. So your website, for example, your forms that they fill out, the ways that we've set up automation, as soon as someone fills in a contact form, there should be an automatic message that goes back to them. Your customer experience should represent your brand, and that should be the number one complaints of customers should be your number one focus. The number one complaints of customers are, I don't know where my stuff is. I gave y'all money, but I haven't heard from y'all. Y'all weren't on time. I waited for you all day. Hey, what's going on my project? Hey, you told me 1 week, but it's been 2 days. What's up? So I'm not asking to make sense of why customers are like this, but just understand that these are their complaints. So as businesses, our responsibility is to address that and to give them experience that catches their answer before they do it. So when I fully went on to Ames, that's when Chance had told me about his relationship with Brandon DeCastro. And that's where the deal was finally closed with our quality, because we had, as Ames, we serviced everything. We did everyone. We had great guys. We had some systems. But then when he started reaching out to Brandon to see about the quality of showers, how can we launch our shower program, simplify what we're doing? Chance touched on simplifying, the importance of that last week, how important it is to have one thing that you can master. That way you can build better training. It's easier to train a new guy on one product done well with variations versus 10 products, each with 10 variations. And good luck. And it's been a month. How come you don't know this? You heard it once. You did it once. You don't know this. You did it with one guy that one time. You can't install a whole storefront by yourself now. We have these weird expectations of people, but the more you simplify, the better you can have better expectations of your people, the better training you can have to actually get them in a spot to do it. And the SOPs and the quality that Brandon had at GCS And then Chance getting all of his advice from him and making the full shift to showers and then partnering, I was able to see like, oh man, this is great. I got to see what automation did for a new business. Like some of the people that we helped out, Colorado, the location where Chance went to. One guy, one location, what they were able to scale and grow using the automation we have was insane. Then I saw what automation technology did for Ames to update old systems in a 20-year company that always did handshake ways, and how much it shifted our labor, our profit margin, like everything, being able to reduce the crap. And then an established company that was killing it, like Brandon, I was able to see how automation helped really put gas on his fire and put him in a position where it's insane what we have in place now and where we're going and what we're doing with all of this stuff. So sorry if I bored y'all a little too much on going too deep on something, but are there any questions about anything I've covered so far?
You're not boring us at all. You're doing great, man.
Robert, you are absolutely amazing. I can see the amount of experience that you've had, and I think we've all run into it. I'd like to get a little bit more deeper in depth what you mean by automation and how involved automated. Have you gotten to the point where the human aspect of relationship building is taken out of it? And that's one thing I'm always worried about.
That's a great question. That's actually the number one concern of every single person that I talk to. So I've been doing a lot of outreach, calling a lot of companies, a lot of glass companies, cold outreach. Hey, we got an automation and software we use at our companies. It's been benefited us a lot. Would love to let you use it. Get your feedback. Nah, we don't need that. Click. So I truly am trying to call people to help them, because I think this will really help them save hours. A lot of times I find their objections are that we like to talk to our customers. We want a personal one-on-one. We're going to lose our personal touch. And I think we're at a stage now where people expect automation at certain places and appreciate it. Yet we're able to, because the automation's in place, we actually have more time to give a more personal touch. Almost like Amazon. Amazon was the master of this process. If I order something, first of all, if I go to just to look at a product and I leave, I get an email saying, what's up, man? You didn't buy that thing you were looking at. So we all know how ads can follow you. But once I actually do purchase that, I get a text saying, we got your purchase. Here's a summary of your purchase. We'll reach out to you. And then I get a text when the next day when it's shipping to the factory, and I get a text the next day when it's actually on its way to the place. I just picked up 3 Amazon products today. So that's why I'm using Amazon as a reference. And then I get a text when it's at the shop. And as soon as I leave and pick up my product, I get a text that said, tell us about your experience picking up your product. And I know based on previous experience, in another day or two, I'm going to get a text asking them, hey, you never left that review for that product. How was your experience? And I feel like we should all mimic those touch points and add our own personal touch. So if there should be no avenue that a customer can reach out to you, I believe, that there isn't an automation attached to. So your phone number should be something where if you miss a call, they automatically get a missed call text. Your phone number that they text should automatically be a number that they get an immediate message back saying, hey, I acknowledge that you reached out to me. Because people are such, especially now, people are in an immediacy kind of, I want it now, like instant gratification. And even though human beings can't always be available, I would never demand that someone be there all the time, 24/7. I used to be that guy, but no. Let automation at least acknowledge that they reached out to you. And when they get that acknowledgement, make sure that it's scripted in a way that they understand what it is. Hey, thank you for reaching out. If it's after hours and they reach out through a chatbot, a text, or a call, we have automatic messages that get sent to them saying, hey, thank you for reaching out. These are our normal hours. Here's how you can give us this information if you would like a quote even quicker, but we're going to reach out to you in the morning during these hours. That phrase summarized. If they filled out a shower form, they instantly get a message saying, thank you for filling out our shower form. They get a link to a video saying, if you send us, here's how to measure your shower. Hey, thanks for reaching out for your shower. If you send us a measurement of your width and your height, and your depth, if you have one, we're going to be able to get you an estimate. Fill out that form below. So we always give them an option to give us everything. That way, we can make sales in our sleep, whether it's Friday evening or Monday evening, and a customer comes in through our chatbot, the form on our website, our advertisement, our Yelp profile, any of our social profiles, every single place. If you click there, you're going to be filling in, they're going to get a prompt to fill in their information to give us the estimate, and they're going to get an immediate response. Then we're going to get back, we're going to have that information. After hours, we would come in on Monday with possibly 4 or 5 people that have given us measurements, widths, heights, pictures of their product, because we request that. And instead of in the morning having a list of people that reached out on Friday, or Monday evening having a list of people that reached out, and in the morning, a part of your putting out fires and worrying about the guy that didn't show up and trying to adjust for the order, the delivery that Cardinal just said isn't going to come today again, whatever it may be, the last thing you'll have to worry about is where the customers that are trying to pay me more money, are they on the back burner? But instead, you have all that information. So we've come into the morning many times where it's just so lovely. It's so lovely to go from the old way to come in on a Monday morning and to have 3 customers that already give you their width, height, and pictures, and you're able to send them an estimate versus the first thing you talking to them about being, hey, thanks for reaching out on Friday. It's Monday morning. Can you send me a picture of rough sizes? They're at work now, possibly, if they don't work from home. And now you're going to have to coax them to get that. But instead, the automation really helps take the role of a salesman, because when a guy comes in, that first message they get isn't the only message they get. We actually have a 10-day sequence set up. So when somebody fills out a form or comes in through any channel, they automatically get into a campaign where over the next 10 days, they're going to receive a text message from us, almost as if it was our salesman. So when you multiply that by 100 leads in the month that all filled out a form, 100 leads that got into a 10-day sequence, those are 100 people your salesman didn't have to chase down for 10 days trying to get measurements and pictures from people that may potentially be customers. Your automation is doing it for you. And you don't have to worry about losing the personal touch, because you don't have to add your personal touch until they respond. Once they respond, now it's go time. Now it's you. Now it's you putting your estimate. Now it's you saying, hey, how you doing? Or maybe sending the personal video, thanking them for reaching out, whatever personal touch you want to reach. And as soon as you give them that estimate, you can enter them into another sequence of 10 days. Because if you texted them an estimate for an inline shower, normally if I text 10 customers this week, it's going to be on my salesman list to follow up with these 10 customers until we get a deposit, a no, or a measurement scheduled. Now, once I text them an estimate, I'm going to put them in a campaign for people I've texted estimates for inline showers. And over the next 10 days, I have a sequence of messages and emails that's going to reach out to them saying, hey, I just wanted to share with you some more pictures of some more inline showers that I was thinking about. 2 days later, they get, hey, whenever you get a chance, make sure you let me know if there's any questions about Starfire Ultra Clear. Here's a picture of the 2. Because at this point, you've sent them a quote for it and you haven't got a response. Instead of chasing them over the next 7 days, you're going to be giving them value, giving them the difference between clamps and channel, because they haven't made a decision yet. So what you want to do is educate the customer, because they might still be shopping, but at least your automation is educating them on why. First of all, you're showing pictures of your work. Second, you're educating them on an experience. You're giving them an experience that probably no other company is. And you're not doing it in an annoying, are you going to give me money or not kind of way. You're doing it in an educational way where you're maybe, hey, I didn't know. A lot of questions we get are, what's the difference between clamps and channel? I just wanted to share with you a picture. So it almost seems as if you every 2 days, but it's really the automation. And you can customize what message gets sent where, what text, what video. But I think the importance of, at the end of that experience, after you get the estimate and they're on the schedule and they get scheduled and the glass is here, letting them know, hey, just getting your glass in around this day. Hey, got your glass in, it looks great. We quality checked it. Just want to let you know you're going to be on the schedule during this day. And then once they're done, your salesman or your office moving them into that finished and paid category. So just like Amazon, every stage of the business, there's some automation or a pre-saved template that you usually send to every customer. And at the end of it, when you ask them for that instant review, because your guys just walked off and they know your brand and reputation, like Chris Lugo, where even if 10 things went wrong and you were 2 weeks late, because of who he is as a human being and what values he has, he could turn a bad experience for a customer into a good review. There's many times when I'm like, man, I hope they don't leave us a review. It's going to be bad. And then we see a 5-star. And of course, the first words are, Chris was amazing. The rest of the guys tried hard, but Chris really he has a way, and having your guys, that last touch point, having them be where if the glass breaks, they don't go cursing and blame it. Man, the salesman must have measured this wrong. Instead, sorry, ma'am, we made a mistake somewhere. We'll try to do what we can, not blaming. But when there's ownership taken and you immediately set the expectation for what you're going to do to fix it and what they can expect from you at every stage, then at the end of that, even if it was a bad experience, they're going to tell people to use you because of the way you handled the mistakes. It's not if a mistake happens, shit happens. The way you handle a mistake determines if people want to do business with you, if they're going to refer you, because mistakes happen. But if you came at it with the human element, then you were able to make their opinion of you go way higher. And when someone asks, hey, I saw you got a new shower. How was that? Man, it was actually a pretty bad experience, but the guys are pretty awesome. I know they tried. I know Stacy in the office, like she was letting me know every stage. It's just been hell. I don't know what's going on in the glass industry. They said vendors and all this, but I mean, they were nice. They were respectful. They were a good price. They did a quality job. And if those 4 things are your values and it doesn't matter what happens around that, you just stick by that, being good and quality and safe, then anything can happen. And it doesn't matter. Who cares what people are saying about you? Who cares what your old employees is saying? If you have values, you stand on it, doesn't matter. And if your customer experience is great, even if they know there's automations at different stages, I think they're going to really respect that you try to use the technology available to give them a better experience. And there are going to be tweaks where for your personal customer base, you want to turn off some of the automations or tone it down, and other ones you want to turn it up. So each business is different for what they can and can't do as far as automations are concerned. But for me, automations are most important in the pipelines of your business. There's other things that are cool for automations, like Chris Phillips. There are things I just noticed, like at Ames Mirror Glass, just being there, I notice things. But I have to be there to see what you're doing on a day-to-day, because most people are so ingrained in their habits of doing it that they don't always see what opportunities are around them. They're busy getting things done. So when Chris is inputting his information into his system, his CRM system, our follow-up app, and then he's telling me, yeah, I was like, let me know, what else do you do? Well, after that, I do this. Okay, what else do you do? Well, I input my information, all these people's information into over here. I'm like, okay. There has to be a way to automate that. My mind always goes to, what thing do you do all the time? And if you do something the same all the time, if you track your time and you always do the same task for 1 hour of the day, or if you tally, I always spend this much doing this. I always look at, okay, what artificial intelligence or what triggers can I set up to automate that? How can I do it? So for him, it was, I'm always inputting contacts into my CRM I use. For me, there was no integration directly with the software. So I was like, I want to help this guy save time using technology because I want the robots to win, but personal. So I created a Zap so that when he entered information, Zapier is if you have any nerds in your office, Zapier is a huge automation time saver. It's Zapier. And when you have a Zapier account, what they do is they are the jelly in between the 2 pieces of bread that are your apps. If you have a Zoho app or a QuickBooks app, and you have a other app, and you do things in this app all the time, you always do stuff in QuickBooks, and you always do stuff in QR, and you're always doing the same stuff, entering the same information. What Zapier can do is have your apps talk to each other without you being a super coder developer that knows how to make APIs open up to each other and then make sure that all the other tech stuff. So Zapier makes it easy for a nerd like me to get in without having to know the code. And then you knowing a guy like me, and me talking to a guy like Chris, allows me to automate a lot of the things. So now he never, ever, ever has to go enter contacts into that system ever again. Because now when he's in his system, all he has to do is type in 3 letters or 4 letters into a thing, hit enter, and the system will shoot out to the Zap, and it will create his contact over there. It will put it all the places, it'll move his date, and boom. So I love to look at that too. Automation doesn't just have to do with the follow-up software that I love to use and that we use as glass experts. There's automation that can be put in so many stages of our day-to-day life. Like when the guys would come back with the paper measurements, I noticed that she was looking at a sheet that has square footage and seeing what product, a 1/4-inch mirror, our square footage is this, type in width times height, call customer with estimate, write it down. I was like, okay, you know, why don't we give quotes over the phone? Well, we don't, sometimes I do so I built a sheet that all they have to do is find the product, enter width and height, and then all the information spits out: square foot, install without tax, install with tax, install with multiple holes, whatever the case. So there's always things that all of our businesses do on a day-to-day that sometimes you don't realize what's out there. It's not all of our jobs to stay in the front of all technology. It's moving too fast for any of us to do it. Just having a good source of someone or something that can let you know what is possible for you, and having the open mind enough to have the conversations of having someone sit in, watch your process, and just identify where possibly, just like a business consultant, just a nice little tech automation consultant can jump in and try to help. There's one quote, I got my wall full of quotes. I don't know if you noticed, but let me actually turn off my background.
Hey, Rob, Bill has a question. He's asking if Zapier works with SAP.
I'm not sure, but I will look it up for you because I like to know.
And Chance, I think, is responding that if it has open API, it will. So anything that has open API, right?
I just saw all these messages. I haven't even been seeing this.
No, that's my job. Come on, you got to leave me something to do here.
Okay. So what is my background? So see if I can do none. So my walls are covered with like whiteboard walls. I pretty much put whiteboard walls across all my rooms. This is my huge office space. And there's my bookshelf, but on my walls, I try to prioritize on the things that matter, the 5 F's, right? The family, faith, fitness, fun, and finances. So there's a lot of times where I was just pursuing one of those F's or just a few of them, and other parts were lacking. And now I try to be mindful of having all those things in my face. Time management is crucial. And I think everyone can benefit from tracking your time in your business. If you want to identify where you can improve and delegate, write down what you do every hour, look back on that hour, write down what you did. And at the end of the week, look if there's any crap that you hate that you don't need to be doing anymore, and then figure out how you can delegate it or automate it. Because so many people are stuck in doing the stuff themselves all the time. And yeah, you have to measure. If you can track everything, you can measure where you are, just like with working out. If you're lifting 100 pounds on the bench 1 month and then 4 months later, you're still lifting 100, you haven't made much progress. But if you didn't measure how much you were lifting, you'd be like, yeah, I'm killing it in the gym every day. But all you're doing is moving. You're not going nowhere. And a lot of companies like move. At the end of the year, they didn't measure anything and they didn't make any more profit than the year before. God forbid they went down some. And if you can measure and track on a yearly, make a goal for what you want your next year to be, then you can break that down into 12 months. You know how much you need to make a month, then break that down in your weeks. You know how much you need to make a week. And then you can see if you're even in a position as a business to make that based on the products you're offering and the margins you're making. And then understand if you need to make shifts in less people or better products or higher margins or where. But having a clear goal line not just helps you, but it helps your staff know what the hell we're working towards. Is it just so you can get a boat? Or are we really going to get a raise at the end of the year? Or are you just going to promise me health insurance for 5 years? Like, people want to know. And when you have a clear goalpost and everyone knows what they're fighting for, you're more likely to fight with you and trust you on that football team. And training together, playing together, practicing together, super important for teams, super important for everyone. Because like Kobe was practicing at night when no one was doing it. There's so many companies that don't worry about training. Bill talked about that too. Training is crucial. It is essential. Most companies don't have a budget towards innovation or training, and they don't have time for it. But in reality, basketball teams don't just show up. The champions don't just show up to the game like, all right, we got a game today? Cool. Like, they were practicing. They did more practice time than they ever did play time. Football players, they did more practicing, more playing routes, more identifying. They're watching game tape. They're looking at what mistakes did we make and how can we help each other and where did you fail and how can we help you not make that mistake of leaving that gap open again. A lot of times as companies, if you have a poisonous seed, you play the blame game where something goes wrong and everyone wants to tell you who did it, but no one gives a shit about making sure it doesn't happen again. They'll walk by a piece of trash and say, no one cleans up around here. As they walk by it, they will criticize other people's actions and justify why they're not taking the right action. That's poison. I hate that mentality, and you need to nip it in the bud when it happens. Having good culture is super important on how to do that, and identifying that and fixing that as soon as you notice it is super important. And as long as you're fighting for the right thing, Les Brown has a cool quote about a bamboo tree. There's this guy working on his yard on a bamboo tree. And I don't know if you know this, but bamboo trees take, I think, 3 to 4 years to even sprout. You have to water it, you have to feed it nutrients, you have to give it on a regular basis. So if you're that guy planting that bamboo tree, no one else sees your dream, no one else sees your vision, no one else sees what you're building for. They're gonna walk by your house all the time, be like, hey man, heard you were building a bamboo tree or something like that. Yeah, don't see much here. It's underground, it's not there, right? And after 3 years of you doing it, as long as you understand what you're doing and you know what you're doing it for, you'll show up every day and do that. If you ever stop doing that and working on your shit, it will never grow. But after 3 years, when it sprouts, it shoots up like a rocket. Bamboo trees shoot up like a rocket. And that's where everyone goes and tells you, man, must be nice. Look at him, it happened overnight. Damn, I wish I had it like that. Man, I wish I had a uncle in the glass. They don't see all the nights you sweat and toiled. Nowadays, you have to be fighting for the right thing for that to really happen and not get cut off by some stupid lawsuit or some stupid BS. Now more than ever, having a good foundation and having a team to buy into that 3-year vision, because you might not see the success for a few years. You might see the profit margin. You might be constantly reinvesting into the business to get you to a point where you can afford to do the nice things. And during that time, it takes a lot of soldiers and writers and dedication. And most of all, it takes faith. It takes faith and knowing you're doing something bigger and for a bigger reason. And that to me is more important than anything. Having the right value, having the right reason, because when the lights shut off and no one's there, if you're doing the right thing, you feel good. And if you don't, you got depressed people, you got shitty, angry employees. So yeah, I had tips for a bunch of social profiles. I don't know if any of y'all want to hear that, but there's recommendations I would give for all these social profiles out there. Are there any questions about anything else on automation that I didn't cover or I went too off on?
I didn't even know there was that much to talk about when it came to automation. It's incredible. I mean, there are so many things that you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. That's true. And even when you know things, there's a great quote, knowledge is power. And I don't like, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge, if never used, makes you powerless. And knowledge, if you put it into action, makes you powerful. But knowledge by itself is just knowledge. No one likes a smart ass. Like, you have to be able to put it into action and use things you learn and actually implement them. Because a lot of people learn new techniques and learn a lot of stuff, but they don't actually apply it. They learn about a lot about psychology and about sociology and how people need to interact. But on their day-to-day basis, they're doing things the same old 30-year-old way. So having the awareness to implement some of these things you learn and try it out and be a little risky in your business and take a little leap to try something else. I see someone else message. Oh, thanks for, yeah, you have been taking care of these messages over here. Sweet. So yeah, profiles.
It's all about applied knowledge, right?
That's it.
Yeah, there's a good quote. I don't know who said it, but somebody once said, the person who doesn't read is no better off than the person who can't read. You know, a lot Absolutely. Of the illiteracy, you know, that we see like in the world today, it's not that people can't read, it's just that they don't. You know, it's like you want to watch a video instead.
Yeah, I try to read a book a month. It should be more than that, but I try to at least do a book a month and on different topics too. Don't want to stay in the same lane. And people that completely disagree with me, I love to read their perspectives. My book is filled with people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know, in my opinion, I like to grab everyone's, what's the opposite idea of what I believe? Let me go read their well argued viewpoints. That way I can either dissect them and destroy them better in public debates, or I can actually sympathize with them and tell them I've changed my mind because new information came into my life and I realized I was a dumbass before. So both ways, right? Having the self-awareness to not be so arrogant that you know it all at every stage of your life, which the younger we are, the more we think we know. So profiles, that's what I wanted to make sure I hit on. So the Ken Maple, that was a comment I saw. Ken Maple was in the group and you had asked, what do we want people to cover on these calls? And he said there's 5 questions he had put. For new companies like his, he wanted to know, how did they start? Did they have a lot of capital to begin with? Pricing, how do they get new customers? How do they market their glass business? So how do you start? For me, start with brand. Before you advertise or try to sell anything, make sure that whatever you do it to a degree where you're going to be proud to show it off in 20 years. And that person's going to tell people about you. That you start there, then you'll get that word of mouth that you need with time. Do they have a lot of capital to begin with? When you don't have a lot of capital, Bill touched on it before. I think he got cut short on his hour because he gave so much knowledge, right? But he wanted to get to free marketing ideas. And he talked about HOAs and community, I believe, what was it? I forgot what it was, Bill, was contractors, HOAs, and there was other organizations that were local that had their own divisions that you assigned people to each division for each trade. So making sure that those local business, Chamber of Commerce, that's what it was, Chamber of Commerce. So being able to get into that is important. Sometimes all you need is one contractor, one HOA, one community that's going to refer you. As a small guy, you don't need much, especially since most of the time you're not licensed and you're doing it out of your back door anyways. Please stop doing that. But as soon as you can, do it the right way. And pricing, I would say, price it high. Price it high. Do not you can't win the race to the bottom. And when you have quality work that stands the test of time and a reputation like GCS, when it comes to showers and wine designs and great work to show off, you don't got to worry about the price. You stand by it. And to me, a lot of new companies and companies that have always 20-year, even 30-year companies, when you have a certain price and a certain community, you feel like you're gonna say you're robbing them. But you're being robbed right now. You're going 10% up on your materials because of the economy and what's going on. The cost of your business has gone up every single year, but your prices might have stayed the same for 5 or 10 years. But every damn thing your business touches, including the employees and the insurance in it, has gone up. Your prices should reflect that. And if you can't be the cheapest in town, which most of us can't, there's no benefit in being the second cheapest, none whatsoever. All you are is you're not even the cheapest. You're just cheap. Like, that's not a good reputation. Price yourself high and do the work that is quality enough to stand by it. And if you have a good brand, your price can be high. If you stand by your shit, your price can be high. And I always look at it like, I always use the example because most of us have hair now. At one point in our life, we did. And you get a haircut. I used to always go to Cost Cutters and $10. Their chair's always open. I can drive right now at 8 p.m. and find a place that's going to let me walk in within 20 minutes till close. And they're gonna have an open seat and the guy sitting there bored. At the same time, I have to make 2 weeks out appointment for my barber, the one I actually use, and I pay him 8 times more. I pay probably 60 to 70 bucks with tip for my barber. He gives me a great experience. He gives quality work. I can get the same damn haircut around the corner. Most people are scared of losing the job to the person because they're gonna find it cheaper. Guess what? They are gonna find it cheaper. Who cares? Be a good enough barber that they want to wait for you. That one, they care, they'll wait no matter how long you're going to take, because God forbid they go get a Cost Cutter's haircut. They know how that can turn out. God forbid they use a bad contractor. So if you have a good reputation of being a good barber, you have a line of people that are willing to wait. You have people that are willing to reference you, and you have a price point where you could charge $200 for your haircut, and people aren't going to be like, I can't believe they're charging that. They're going to say, man, I wish I could get in that. I wish I could get my haircut by her. So become that. see yourself as that, someone who's good enough to be a branded, high charging stylist, and then operate like it. Clean your truck, like show up nice. You are judged from the second, it's not even from the second you pull up anymore. You're judged the second they see you online. So these social profiles I'm about to go over, you have to make sure that they look good. Because the first thing us millennials that you hate so much go and do is we look you up. Older generation people care about different things, and what drives and earns their business is different than younger generation people. And there's different mentalities through different generations. Our younger selves, we didn't have to go through a Great Depression. We weren't direct descendants of people that kept every single thing and hoarded and kept every single item and learned how to reuse that milk. And you better not throw that out. You better mix that with the other one and make it good. Extending products, growing yourself. There are people who didn't, it wasn't a choice. It was a necessity to survive. And that training and that thought process got pushed down. You want a 20-year reputation business because it's easier to do a bad job back in the day and disappear. It's easier for a lot of people to do shady stuff, and knowing a business was established for 20 years matters a lot more. Now, a millennial coming in that has thousands of dollars because he made an app and he wants to pay you for 10 showers in a mansion he just bought. He doesn't care about your 20-year reputation. He cares about his experience when he looks you up. Do you have recent reviews? Cool, 20 years ago you were cool. But in the last month, do you have a review of a product you did of something I want? Cool, cool. So you're still relevant. All right. Did you make it easy for me to get a quote from you? Do I feel like it's going to be tough for me to even get you here? Or what are you one of the guys that's going to make me stop my day, leave my boat, come back to the place just to meet you on site because you aren't capable to give me an estimate from a picture and from me telling you the size? Like, if you're not set up like that, cool. You're not going to get my business as the younger generation. So being able to make sure we have our businesses set up to meet the customer where they're at, and not necessarily, if you're standing firm on something, this is the way we do it. Just make sure it's something that you really, truly be willing to step back and analyze and identify. Is that still something that is as important as it was the day I put that flag in the ground? Or is it something that I want to maybe possibly reconsider and adjust as far as what kind of experience we give the customer, how we do things around here? Be flexible and willing to maybe try it out. Hey man, I've never tried to give you an estimate over this. Hey man, I've used y'all for 10 years. Cool. Well, we're doing things a little different now. I'm not a part of that. I can't help you. Here's how we do it now. We'd love to work with you. Please help us do it this way and give us this information. And then we'll get someone out there. I understand making acceptances because you're not going to lose a contractor that builds 10 houses and says, you get your butt over here, or some giving it to someone else. Makes sense, but try to take advantage, be selective. Don't always cave to every single customer, because if the customer's had it your way, if they've been calling your cell phone this whole time, doesn't matter what automation you put in or what new thing you want to try. If you answer, you're teaching them that it doesn't matter what you set in place, what processes you try to do, or what new way you want to do things. A lot of these guys are going to test your buttons and still call your personal cell and be like, hey man, they told me to call this other number, but when can you get some guys out here? If you always answer, and instead of saying, sorry man, you have to go through that channel, but you cave into them because you don't want to lose them, you will always be the slave to other people's schedule. You always be the slave to someone else's time. And I just don't, I'm in the automation world, right? I understand the personal touch to an extent, and the relationships you built and the trust, but hopefully you can get them to a point where they trust you enough, and you get to a point where you trust someone else enough to hand that off and trust that it's going to be well taken care of, and you can live with the pride of knowing you connected to good people that are going to take care of each other and build a working relationship, versus fearing that they're not going to take care of them the way you would. If you trained them right, if you did them right, if you have the right principles, you have the right people, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You can turn your back and they'll do the right thing.
Hey, that's a great point you just made. And I don't want to just skip over it, but about directing people and getting people into your flow and not picking up the phone, just letting a phone ring. I mean, that's something that takes a little bit of practice of just like, oh, hey, that guy's calling. I'm not going to pick it up. Or, if you ask somebody, hey, send me a text message, I'm going to give you a number, text me at this number and I'll get back to you and give you a quote. And they text me at my, on my regular cell phone. And it's like, no, I'm going to force them into my stream as best I can. You can't always do it 100% of the times. Sometimes, like, it's an older person, they're just not very technical, and you just have to kind of cater to them. But I want that to be like 1 out of 100.
Yes.
Because I figure people really are looking to me for leadership, even if they're, you know, kind of a control freak or a leader themselves, and they're having trouble relinquishing the control of their project. But they've hired me because I'm the expert. Really, they want me to take the reins. So sometimes that means really kind of being a little bit firm. And that is an awesome point. I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever make it before.
That's a good segue to the profiles. So you have to tell people what to do. You're the authority. And as a more docile guy, I have an issue with that when I was on site places. And I noticed that a customer will quickly take control of the design of everything, of what to use. And as soon as you let them know, your installer lets them know that you're going to defer to somebody else for experience, you lose all credibility with them as far as being the guy that they're going to trust to make that final call. And being able, your guys know, you got to tell them what the safest option is, tell them what the best option is, and tell them the way it's going to be. When they're on your website or your social profiles, you want a call to action. People need to be directed what to do. If you have any advertising, if you have anything out there, any piece of marketing material, there has to be a call to action. And a call to action is just telling people what to do, because people subconsciously want to be told what to do all the time. They want to be directed in what the next step is that they need to take in order to make this relationship keep working the way it is. And call to actions are those. You can have a super awesome headline. Hey, Austin, you looking for a new shower? Check this out. And that's it. That ad is going to perform horrible. Hey, Austin, want a shower? Check this out. Click the button below to get yours. That's a call to action. You're telling them what they need to do to next. So they read it. Oh, you just told me to click the button. All right, I'm gonna click it because I want that. And that's what your pages need to do. So I'm just going to give you some tips on certain pages. I see wow, Bill was right. An hour passes fast. 8:27. What the hell? So if you're brand new or if you're tried and true, if you're a tried and true business, go back and look at all these profiles and make sure it's all filled in. If you're new, make sure you have these profiles, but do these other things first. So for Facebook, it's community based. It's helpful. This is where Bill was talking about, and the stuff I really would love to do at Ames and would love to do for GCS, community involvement. I don't know what GCS does for community involvement. Actually, I actually never asked them, but you see what Bill's doing with the Girl Scouts. I believe it was the Girl Scouts that went to the factory. You see what they're doing all over the community boards, the schools you're at, helping the Make-A-Wish stuff. Like those are gems Bill dropped the other week about that. That's true caring. It can benefit you in no way on the front surface. And that means it means that much more to anyone looking and anyone watching. You're just out there doing good things and showing that you want to be a part of something better and something bigger. And you want to leave a better impact and leave shit better than you found it. And when you do that, people want to rock with you, even if you're more expensive or take longer or all these other things, doesn't matter. And when you can showcase that on your profiles, that's great. But Facebook is mainly a social place. You want to have a business Facebook, a Facebook page, and you want to have all those little categories filled out. Mostly because if you don't have money as a business, these things help you in SEO. At the very end of this is Google My Business and Google itself. So I'm not saying use Facebook because it's an amazing, great thing and you can survive off it. It's one of many things that together, when you piece together all these profiles, it gives you a fighting chance against people with a large budget and are throwing money at the wall against you. So Facebook, you want to do more community-based stuff. You want to do funny stuff. You want to do like who we are kind of stuff. And you want to showcase your product, but that's for engagement. People are, it's like a social barbecue. They're not there to buy Google. They're there to buy. They're saying, where can I buy this? So when they see an ad saying, buy this, they're like, cool, that's what I want. On Facebook, when they see buy this, they're like, bro, I'm just here to chill. Like I came to see what my friends are doing. I came to see what my aunt's bitching about today. Like I'm just here to scroll through. Your message has to meet them there, understand what psychology they're at, and hopefully they read your brand and you get in their head to where next time they see an ad for you or when they're really ready, you're the one they think about. So having a social presence on Facebook helps that. Instagram is stories. Like that's so many relationships. I saw Chance kill the game on Instagram with the contractors he was able to build relationships with, the other glass companies he was able to build relationships with. Yes, Oliver, we're about to go out, sir. I know, my dog. So kill the game. And then watching other people's social profiles, I'm like, whoa. So making sure you post stories about what y'all are doing. People want to see day to day. They're there to see what you're doing. Most people don't want to post because they're like, nah, that doesn't look right. Brandon's a damn perfectionist, but no, that doesn't look right. No, I don't want to say that. Oh, no, no one's going to care. Guess what? If you're going through it, people are going to care. That's what we learned at Ames. We learned so much about posting our story because other glass companies were like, hey, man, we're going through the same crap. Or, man, I'm glad you talked about that. You don't realize how big of a community, and we all are like going through the same struggles, and we all need someone to vent to. And when you have other glass companies that are not just having the same struggles as you, but are helping you in certain ways and that you're able to help, you just feel better. So Instagram, I think, like, go crush it. Go. It's not about what can they do for me. It's about what can you do for other people. Go look at their profiles. Go like their work. Go comment on their nice stuff you like. Don't just heart every one of their pictures. Comment on everyone. Nice, 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 nice. That's so empty and weak. Like, literally use your mind and your time to give a shit about the work they're doing and give your true, honest opinion. And that's going to build a relationship because they're going to wonder who you are, what you're doing, commenting on their stuff. And if you do that to enough high-end, high profiles, or just local contractors, other people are following them, other people in the industry. So if you just go and try to build relationships with quality work, other people are going to wonder, who's this guy that's always commenting that, one, says relevant stuff, isn't a spammer, and two, looks like they do some cool stuff too. Let me reach out to them because I'm actually in the market for what they have. So Instagram's like a whole untapped place. I remember a year and a half ago, we were telling everyone to get on TikTok, and now it's blown up, and that's why. There's a lot of things that we see coming in the tech world that may not make sense to you right now, but if you had a social presence on TikTok right now, you'd be getting big deals offered to you from stupid channels that want to advertise on your attention that now they realize is important. So work on TikTok if you want to be funny and short quips. Once again, show everything. Who cares? You throwing away a piece of glass and hitting it with a bat might give you 1 million views and get you interviewed on NBC. Like, this is a weird world we're living in, but that's true. It's just the way it is. Yelp, my advice for Yelp would be, don't pay for ads. If you are and you're being successful, make sure you're tracking. Tracking comes into importance more than ever. Make sure you know tracking every single lead and cost per acquisition. If you're running any advertisement, get cost per click out of your head. Cost per click doesn't matter. It cost me $10 per lead. Who cares? How many of those leads turn into customers? Cost per acquisition. That's what matters. The only damn number that matters in marketing to me, CPA. What is the cost per acquisition? If I gave you $100 lead and everyone was closed, is that better than the other guy who gives you 20 leads at $10 a lead, but you can't close one? Or you might close 1 out of 20? That's $200 a lead you're paying. And how much more time are you spending commenting on all those people? Understanding your margins, how much profit you make, gives you the ability to set a comfortable number on what you're paying per lead if you get to that point. But if you do your tracking and you're using Yelp, I wouldn't recommend using their ads, because if I fill out a customer profile for you, Yelp is going to send, there's a box they check at the bottom that automatically sends that paid lead that I paid for. It sends their information to 10 other companies. And it says, this guy's looking for a shower. And if I'm an hour late and calling that guy back, he's pissed. Not because I'm calling him back an hour late, because he's already heard from 3 other contractors. And dude, why are y'all blowing me up? Yelp does that for your paid leads, unless they actively scroll down and uncheck the box that automatically sends your paid lead to other people. So that, because of those deceptive tactics, I say, good luck, sir. I'll still use your free profile. And I still recommend paying the $90 for 3 buttons you can control. One, you can control your call to action button. If someone's on your profile and you have a button on top, you can control where that link goes to if you pay Yelp $30 a month. For another $30 a month, you get to control removing competitors. Because right now, if someone goes to your Yelp page, they're going to see right at the bottom a ton of recommendations of other people they can use. And Yelp's great at that. And then they're going to charge that guy for being on your profile. Snakes. Anywho, so the other thing that I pay for them is being able to show which products you want at top. It was important for us as Ames transitioned from we do every piece of glass except I and Otto, to we only do showers and mirrors, all of our profiles said we did everything. So it was a while for us of getting a lot of calls and shifting that out of the company and being able to pay Yelp to control what pictures were featured up top, minimize the amount of requests we got for jobs we no longer did. So that's why I would pay for those 3 things on Yelp, but I wouldn't pay for ads. If you are measure it, house, if you get listed on house, but disable product tagging, because on house, if you list all your great work, they tag your picture with what products you use, and then they use your pictures and your work to make sales that they give you no credit and no commission for. If they were paying us, I'd be like, use house and don't take that off. But if you use house, get there and list it, because Google likes when you're listed in a lot of places that have a lot of users, but don't make sure you remove that so they don't make money off your work. And Home Advisor. Home Advisor is great for new guys starting out. But if you're going to use Home Advisor, pay a directory to put all your listings online first, or go and list all your online profiles everywhere you can. There's a ton of online directories where your business can get listed. But when you sign up with Home Advisor, there's terms and conditions that say you allow them to use your work, your number, your profile, your name, your everything. It is horrendous, their practices of what they do with your work and your name. They will go and list your name on different business directories. And then the link that customer clicks on your business page when they looked for you will lead to their preferred vendor and whoever paid them. And in the terms and conditions, it says that you gave them all grant for forever, now and forever in a day. Whatever you post, whatever you put, whatever information, they have free authority to put this. So if you use that snake company that changed their name for a reason, then you would make sure that you go and get your place listed, because you have to actively fight against that. They will go and list your business for you, but they won't put your links and credit you and give you any money for it. And then that leads to the last one is Google My Business. Google My Business is a killer right now. There's so many things you can fill out in that area. There's it matters so much more. And Google's goal right now is to take over the world, and I want to help them. So when you have Google, your Google My Business profile has a lot of areas where you can fill in, but slowly Google has taken over being just a phone book. It was an online phone book. Then it was an online search directory. Then they started doing a little bit of, well, now we want people to be able to call the business from this. And now they're getting to a point where they're giving you a Google My Business website, which you should go fill out your Google My Business website, your posts, your listings, your description. Go to business.google, find your business, and fill out every dang section you can in there, because that's going to get you some free leads as a new company. Or if you're already an existing company, that's going to clean up your SEO and your online presence. And when you have all these other profiles that I mentioned up and running, it's going to list them there and use them as more reasons to pull up your company when someone searches for that product. And they're going to highlight you on so many different citations. I think Chance just said citations over here. Yeah, citations are great for SEO. And that's an example of what a Home Advisor will go and do for you, but direct people to them. So making sure that your GMB, your website, all of it tells the customer how you can help them. All your marketing, all your stuff, customers now want to know, how can you help them? They want to know your story too, but your story goes on page 2 or on that About Us or a little more down the page. Most of the time we want to talk about how awesome we are at the top, how amazing we are and this and that. But a lot of times now a customer goes to a page and they want to know, what can you do for me and how can I do it? Are you the people? So making sure that that's relevant at the top, whether it's a button they can press to get immediate contact with you, a picture of some work you did, and a call to action directing them what they need to do in order to get this amazing stuff that you're showing off for them. So yeah, that's all the profiles. It's 8:39. Sorry for going over. Thanks for loving my hair, Billy.
Dude, wow. You're just getting warmed up, man. I know.
I can talk.
I know. You're just getting started here, man.
I was about to say, don't apologize. I know you could go another hour, no problem.
Dude. Yeah, and I don't know how many of you guys are doing business with Glass Experts partners in some way. You have the follow-up app or one of the many services they provide, but Robert is just such a gem and such a wealth of of information and technology, and it's like he's just scratched the surface. So if you are involved with those guys and you get a chance to have a call with him, man, I really recommend you do it. He's just a super smart guy and really a nice guy. And that's one of the things I love about, all you guys. I mean, all you guys are like really talented and really sharp and really available and approachable and willing to share the information that and man, I learn stuff every time. In fact, I always have to like listen to the podcast to hear all the stuff that I missed, because it's like I just can't absorb it all in one shot. So that's available too. So hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for showing up. We went a little long. That's okay. We'll see you next Wednesday.